Hey, what's going on, everyone? Matthew from therighttrader.com back today with another daily crypto update. Cryptocurrencies are falling quite a bit now after some very bad crypto news that came through today, and that is regarding the SEC's decision on rejecting the Winklevoss Bitcoin ETF. So a lot of people were excited of a potential Bitcoin ETF getting accepted, and of course the SEC has been pretty hesitant on accepting these ETFs due to a numerous amount of factors, one of them being potential market manipulation. That's the one that they stated today. And I don't necessarily agree with them rejecting these ETFs, but the fact of the matter is we're not going to see that just yet. And that doesn't mean that we're not going to see them in the future, but in the short term, people are definitely worried about this and are worried about how this will affect the markets. I'm trying to take more of a long-term view, and I think that, if you take a look at the bigger picture, the ETFs are only a small part of what makes what makes all of this bullish, right? I think there's a lot of other things that make Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies valuable enough for them to go up, right? So I'll talk about that in more detail in just a second. But over the past 24 hours, a lot of cryptos started falling, and you'll see that on the charts. We do still have some support here, but since this is the beginning of the drop, we could actually end up falling more. Don't forget to follow me on Twitter for live cryptocurrency market updates. I'll leave a link to that in the description of this video. And let's get right into the news here. So one of the things that I wanted to mention is you have to remember this is the perfect example of how basically we're not going to go up in a straight line, right? We turned bullish again this week, and now we're falling. Could even fall some more. So it's important to remember that we're never going to go up in a straight line, right? And it can seem like we may at sometimes, but it's that's not how the market works, right? We're going to have these ups and downs. What matters is that we remain uptrending overall. So here's the news: the Winklevoss Bitcoin ETF was rejected by the SEC for the second time, because that was actually their second time applying. They got rejected the first time, and now this second time. So as mentioned in this Cointelegraph article here, the SEC mentioned that when spot market is unregulated, there must be significant regulated derivatives markets related to the underlying asset with which the exchange can enter into a surveillance sharing agreement. And basically here, mentioning how there is potential for the market to be manipulated, and that would obviously be dangerous to have an ETF relating to that market. So that is some of the things that they're talking about. What's bad with this is, based on this statement here, it's not looking too good for any crypto ETF right now, right? Because this is something, very hard to avoid. Manipulation is pretty much impossible in the market, and if that's what they're being picky about, that's just not a good sign for ETFs overall. But like I said, right, ETFs are only one part of the puzzle, and I think cryptos can do great even without ETFs. But of course, a lot of people were had their hopes up for this, and this was a bit of a scare. Now, I also wanted to mention this Reddit post talking about how this is FUD, and I think there's a certain amount of that here. Now, of course, people got confused about this news, and there was a lot of misinformation going around. The news is correct. The ETF did get rejected, but keep in mind, this is only one of the ETFs, right? There are many other companies that are applying for a Bitcoin ETF. Those could potentially still get approved. And someone here mentioned that the CME Bitcoin futures actually expire in a few days, and that's very easy to manipulate this market. So you can start a rumor, and everybody basically gets scared, and that could lead to futures manipulation as well here. And there's definitely a possibility of that. So the bottom line is this news is correct. We still have some ETFs that are pending, like the Solid X one, but based on the statement from the SEC, could see many more ETFs get rejected here. So that could take some time. What I'm really looking at is, forget the ETFs. If they come, that's great. But if they don't, there's other reasons why we should be bullish here, and why cryptos should be doing well. That's just my personal opinion and not financial advice. And with that being said, we're going to jump into the Bitcoin technical analysis. So I'm going to go ahead and zoom in here, but what you can see is we're definitely starting to reverse after our little bull run here. We reached up to $8,400, and that's when we started to pull back. So we're now back in the Bollinger Band range. We're actually starting to drop below our $7,950 support level, and we just dropped below the 70 line on the RSI, so we actually have quite a bit of room to drop lower. Our first area of support that I'm going to be looking at is at around $7,600, so we could expect some kind of bounce there. And of course, we have support at $7,950, but for us to be able to remain above that, we really need to get a bounce quickly here. Otherwise, next stop is going to be $7,600. And as far as bigger support levels, we're going to be looking at $7,200 as well. But really, I'd say I'm looking at least at the middle band over here and the uptrend line. So definitely a lot of room to move lower, maybe even all the way down to $6,800. The one good thing is that we do have a lot of support, support levels in that area, right? We have our middle band, our $6,800 support level, our uptrend line. So we have multiple layers of support that could help us, kind of guarantee, so to say, a bounce there. But that would mean, dropping quite a bit here. Let's go ahead, take a look at our next cryptocurrency, and keep in mind here with Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies, what really matters is staying above our uptrend line right now. So for Ethereum, we're actually pretty close to that uptrend line, and we would of course want to try to stay above that. We also have a new uptrend line that's kind of in the making here, so I'll go ahead and draw that out as well. That gives us a little bit more room to move lower. But basically, support at $450. We have quite a bit of support there, and I think it's going to follow Bitcoin, right? So if Bitcoin happens to fall lower, I think Bitcoin could go down to probably around $430 pretty easily here. Ethereum could go down to $430. Let's go ahead, take a look at Litecoin, see what's going on. So Litecoin is currently dropping to its $80 support level. That's where its middle band is at. Pretty logical area to get a bounce. Could fall more, back down to, into the $70 range. As long as we're above $70, we're still okay on a longer term view. Let's go ahead, take a look at our next crypto, which is going to be Nano, and see what's going on. So taking a look at Nano, we can see that we're not looking good. This has been basically one of the weakest cryptocurrencies out there. Nothing really holding it up, and with this new bearish news that came through, I think it's not going to be able to stand up very well. So not much to say about Nano right now. Unless we're able to get back above 40,000 Satoshis, this one is looking bad. I'm not going to lie here. Let's take a look at Ripple, see what's going on. Ripple is, let's see. Ripple is basically still consolidating between 40 cents and 50 cents. Still in the middle of this consolidation range, and I think that's probably going to continue a little bit longer. If we're going to start moving lower, what matters is that we don't move below 40 cents, right? That is our critical support level for Ripple. Let's take a look now at our next crypto, which is going to be Neo, and see what's going on. So Neo is falling a bit, wasn't able to get back above its uptrend line. One of the weaker cryptos out there as well. Of course, not as bad as Nano, but just, it hasn't really been able to get above some of its bigger resistance levels just yet. And now we might even start moving back down to $26. Let's go ahead, take a look at what's going on for EOS. Take a look at the chart here on Binance, and as you can see, EOS is still holding up pretty well here compared to other cryptocurrencies, not moving that much. We're pretty close to our uptrend line though, and we definitely want to try to stay above that because if we move below that, probably going to move below 10,000 Satoshis, and that could lead to quite a bit of downside if we start moving below 9,000 Satoshis. So want to try to stay in this symmetrical triangle range. Might not be the easiest thing. We'll know within the next couple of days. If we're going to start really testing that uptrend line, that's when things start getting a bit more dangerous. Let's go ahead, take a look at Stellar Lumens, see what's going on. So Stellar Lumens is experiencing a pretty harsh drop here, falling back down to near its uptrend line. We do have some support with the middle band here, so could get a bounce, either at our uptrend line or at 3,500 Satoshis. I wouldn't want to move below that for the time being. So that would be, our critical support level in the shorter term. And Stellar has been one of the stronger cryptos, so I do think it'll be able to weather the storm better here in the short term. But, of course, what's ideal is that we remain in the symmetrical triangle formation and then slowly but surely move back up towards 4,000 Satoshis as we reach the end of the symmetrical triangle formation. Let's go ahead and take a look at Lisk now, see what's going on. So Lisk is currently falling towards The lower $4 range, we have our last bit of support around $4.73. Any move below that will likely push us down to $4, and if we move below $4, it's onwards towards $3 or even $2. So ideally, we want to make sure we stay above $4.73 to avoid any kind of bigger drop. And if we do end up dropping, really want to make sure we stay above $4 here. Let's go ahead, take a look at Cardano, see what's going on the Bittrex chart. Now, Cardano is right at its support level at around 2,000 Satoshis. Not the biggest drop just yet, but this is our critical support level. So any move below this is going to push us quite a bit lower, all the way down to probably 1,200 Satoshis. So we definitely want to try to stay above 2,000 Satoshis, but this is our last support level, like I said, before any kind of bigger drop, and we already tested this 2 times. So definitely a possibility that we end up dropping more here for Cardano, unfortunately. And taking a look at our last cryptocurrency of the daily crypto update, which is going to be IOTA. Not actually doing bad. It went up today, it seems like, bounced off its uptrend line, so hopefully we can remain above that. That's, of course, what we want to see. And yeah, that's basically our critical support level, is this uptrend line right here, so right around $1. Want to try to stay above that, and we'll take a look over the next couple days if we're going to be able to move higher or not. But that uptrend line is what's key here. With that being said, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.